All right, everybody, welcome to Locked On Avalanche. Gabe Landeskog is on the ice, and there is video to prove it. We'll be discussing that and Instagram questions, some good ones for today. New episode of Locked On Avalanche coming at you.
You're Locked On Avalanche, your daily podcast on the Colorado Avalanche. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Locked On Avalanche. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thank you for making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. He is Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan, and I am Chris Maselli. And you can follow us on our social media outlets, LOPN_Avalanche on Twitter, Locked On Avalanche on Instagram. Questions, comments, concerns, and opinions to lockedonavalanche@gmail.com. And follow us on our YouTube channel over on YouTube. Hit subscribe, get notified when a new show goes live. All right, so some really good questions that we'll probably have to break this up because we get a ton of them whenever we throw a mailbag out there. So we'll get to a few of them a little bit later on, but where we're going to start today, Mr. Sullivan, is with our captain, because that's maybe of what everybody is looking at right now is Gabe Landeskog back on the ice. This is actually the second time he's been back on it. He did it a little while ago, and there was video that came out of that, skating around very, very gingerly at that point in time, right? But this time, it seems like he's on track of what they initially said after those 12 weeks were up. And it's like, okay, like, you know, we're now in the middle of March, and we're expecting him to start skating middle of February. And that's where we are, maybe on the downside of February, but he was out there very slow, taking it easy, but you see him out there. And I think that makes Avalanche fans happy.
It's like when we saw him skating with the cup. It was a big deal. Everybody got to see him out there at the celebration starting the season. And then you saw him one more time out there skating. It was very slowly. It was like slow motion. And now the third sighting of Halley's Comet, Gabe Landeskog is back on the ice. And it's like, it's the most thing, like everybody, the captain's back. Give it time. Give it time. That's what we were thinking. Like, oh, is he coming back early? Is this earlier than expected? What can we expect from Gabe Landeskog? He's skating slow, so might be another week or two. Fast forward a couple weeks or two, and here we are again. So give it time. It was fun to see like EJ and Kale out there watching him, because it's the must-see moment of the year.
It is, yeah. So, and I don't know, just the way that the season has gone for the Avs, obviously with all these injuries, and you know, you saw like clips of like the beat writers and stuff like that for the Avs that were at the practice, putting up like the videos of him, and you know, he was skating around very, very slowly, which you expect. He was taking kind of just some standing still, like wrist shots and things like that, but with the way the season has gone for the Avalanche, even watching him skate like that, and I know you have to start at some point, I was just like, maybe get off the ice, dude. Like, I don't want, you just get the vibe of there's going to be a setback. And I don't want to have that feeling, but just the way that the season has gone, that's where my mind is going to go. Until he is fully, until they announce and they release the lines for the game that they say he's coming back in. From now until then, I am just preparing for the worst in them saying he had a setback and he might miss the rest of the season or something. Like, I have all my faith in, you know, the trainers and doctors and stuff like that to go about this the right way. But that's just where my mind is at. And I don't think anybody can fault me for that.
No, I think I'm even worse than you are. I don't think I'm going to rest until the season's over. It's going to be, we're going to handle him like Bo Byram. Every shift he's out there, you're just watching. Oh, did he take that edge? Oh, did he get hit? Did he go down? Oh, I hope he gets back up. You're going to watch all year long. It's going to be, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I'm setting it up in my heart. It's going to be like a Shane Bowers, like first shift and then adios.
Right.
Like, it's great to see him back, but how this season has gone, I don't blame you for feeling that way.
Yeah, no, you got to handle it with kid gloves right now. So, we will obviously be keep an eye on that as he practices and does what he does day in and day out. But we're going to talk about a player that is no longer on the Avalanche, and I promise you, this is probably the last time that we will talk about this person, and that is Martin Kaut, because it did come out earlier on Monday afternoon from, I want to get his name right, Sheng Peng, I believe is how you pronounce
Mhm.
his name. And he is a writer for the San Jose Sharks. And he put a tweet up stating Martin Kaut says he asked for a trade 5 times in 5 years from the Colorado Avalanche. He trains with Tomas Hertl in the summer and says it was actually Hertl who called him to inform him of the trade ahead of, he corrected himself. He said ahead of even Sakic, and he corrected himself saying, McFarland is actually the GM. So he's assuming McFarland should have been the one to contact him. Either way, he's saying Hertl contacted Kaut before the Avalanche did. What do you make of all of this? Is it? I mean, it's, to me, it's not a big deal anymore. Guys ask for trades all the time, but I think with so much that was going around with Martin Kaut over his career, and always that guy that was kind of like dangled as a trade piece, and then you hear this, does it really change anything for you? Like, what's your kind of take on this whole thing?
To everybody who has sent me this story, um, I I know I've seen it. You've heard the rumblings from Avs fans about the attitude. You've seen the attitude, and now you get the attitude as he leaves. There's no thank you for the opportunity, Colorado and Bednar. Thank you, Cup winning Colorado Avalanche, for giving me the opportunity to play for the team. No, you get in San Jose, you start playing, and then you're burning where you just came from. Guess what? It's
Yeah, I mean,
you announce you. Why are we hearing about this now from you after you leave? Because
well,
they are keeping that controlled because that's an image thing.
oh sure. I mean, that's not going
So
to get out unless he wants to go public with it while he's on the team. That's not going to get out.
so why would you do that to yourself now? San Jose is not going to be your forever landing place.
We don't know that right now. We don't know. I mean, he's on the cheap right now, so they're trying to catch lightning in a bottle with him,
Well,
and so like
I
maybe
guess
he
I guess
just
Tony
needs,
D'Angelo still gets jobs, so I guess Martin Kaut
yeah,
should.
maybe he just, it's one of those change of scenery things, and I think for him, that's where he was coming from with this. I don't have a problem with him asking for a trade. Like we were wanting to trade him for maybe 5 years. So we can't kind of go back on that and say like, oh, what's he doing now? Saying like, oh, I was asking for a trade. So that I think like I'm looking at it differently now, saying like the Avalanche were trying to work with him.
Yeah.
The Avalanche do not, like, look what they did when Matt Duchene asked for a trade. That took a while. This is not Matt Duchene. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is if the player that wants out of Colorado, the Avalanche just don't turn around and move him. They wanted to work with him. They wanted to try to work it out. I remember an article of Joe Sakic sitting down with Martin Kaut. This was years ago. This is probably 3 or 4 years ago, saying, we have plans for you and we have a process for you. I think the Avs wanted to see that process out. Was he frustrated that he wasn't where he thought he would be? Probably. And maybe from his point of view, that's what he was saying, was like, I'm asking for a trade, not because I'm unhappy here. It's just, I see where this team is going. Like they're getting all these pieces. I'm trying to find where I fit in here. I don't think I do. So I'm going to ask for a trade to maybe like kind of jumpstart my career and go to a place where I do fit. I don't think there's any malicious intent here. I think it's just a
Well,
player wanting to move on because he's not getting a chance.
well, why are you going to tell us before the season starts if I don't get it together right now? This is my only shot, and make it sound like you're not getting a chance. Period. Like, why say that when you're behind the scenes asking for a trade every time the office door is open?
Because it probably is. Because the writing is on the wall for him. I'm going to request a trade and try to go somewhere else. So, like I said earlier, try to jumpstart my career. They want to hang on to me to see if we can work it out. So for him, it was like, this has got to be at some point we need to meet, at the same crossroads. And for him to say that at the beginning of the year kind of made me feel like we've run this car as far as it can go, and we can't pull it out any further. We can't pull this car out any further than this year. What are we really doing here if we go beyond this year? So I understand it. I really do. I'm not put off by this. I think the Avs did right by them. He's their first round draft pick, and they wanted to see it through to the absolute end. He wanted to jump ship a little bit earlier. I have no problem with that either. So I don't, this is just in text on a tweet, so I don't know what his demeanor was when he was saying this stuff. I don't feel like he was angry, but it just didn't work out, and that's okay. It's all right.
I just worry about the optics for him and trying to land another gig, because he's making it harder on himself no matter what he's doing constantly. Because we talked about, nobody talks about, this is my one and only shot. You never hear that. And now he's talking about, I asked for a trade 5 or 6 times. Like, you don't hear that. And he is making it a challenge when it comes to the next contract and the next team that's looking at him, when you're laying out this track record of kind of a below average play, but boy, you are a soundbite and a half.
And if he's asking for a trade 5 times in 5 years, like I said, I feel like he was just trying to take control of his career. He didn't want to just be sitting in the AHL with the Avs. So at an earlier age, he tried to make a move, have them make a move, so he could get going in the NHL. Don't have a problem with it, and I get what you're saying. I completely get what you're saying, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it all. So, but he eventually moved on. I think everybody got what they wanted, and now he can.
Yeah, we got Nieto.
Yeah, we got Nieto back. So thank you, Martin Kaut. You're still helping us. All right. Let's hear from FanDuel, and then we will get to some of these Instagram questions, which were so good, including a couple questions on President's Day. The focus won't be solely on that, but there's a couple questions in here that do. So we'll get to those as well. But first, we got FanDuel, and we are at the midway point of the NBA season. And now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's bonus bets back if your first bet doesn't win. So just download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's safe, secure, and super easy to use, and you can bet on everything from the money line to point scores to three-pointers drained. What else can we bet on for basketball?
Assists, triple doubles.
Yeah, that's no fun. I mean, I don't know. Like I said,
shot.
There you go. The 4-point shot, which I talked to you about the other day, which the Harlem Globetrotters brought into existence. Thank you, Jeopardy. Plus, FanDuel even lets you combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with a same game parlay. So don't miss the chance to get your no sweat first bet up to $1,000 in bonus bets when you go to FanDuel.com/locked on. Once again, that's FanDuel.com/locked on to learn more. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. All right, let's jump right in here to some Instagram questions that we got. Again, if you want to get in on this, just follow us over on our Instagram channel. Like I said in the beginning, Locked On Avalanche. We throw these up there's no rhyme or reason to it. We probably should. I mean, during the course of the season, it's tough to have a definite date to do it, with games being random days and everything. But when there's a break like we have right now, we do it in the off season. We kind of do it more consistently, but and you should just follow us on Instagram anyway, because I mean, we're fun people. So
we try to be.
I know. I try to be anyway. So we got a few here, and I'm sure we won't get to all of them today. So we'll probably break this up into a couple of days. But we'll start with EJ, and Jackman asks, with EJ having a broken ankle, do you think he will retire after this season? What say you, Mr. Shaggy Von Doom?
He was talking about retiring before the Cup season, and he was talking about retiring before this season. Now with a broken ankle,
Yeah, right. Go ahead.
why not? Like you've been toying with the idea. This is your answer.
Why not? Because he's a hockey player, and they hold on to the love of the game longer than other athletes, if you ask me. Yeah, he was toying about it before the Cup season, and that was because of an injury.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't hear too much about before this season started. I didn't hear that it was the super loud. Maybe he was toying around, but yeah, the year prior he was, because he had some injuries. So, but I don't think he wants to end that way. I feel like maybe he came back for, when he smacked his face on the ice, he missed all that time. I think he came back because he didn't want his career to end that way. And I don't think he wants it to end this way either. Now, I think we're expecting him back for the playoffs. So it's not all like complete doom and gloom. I would expect him to come back at some point for the playoffs. For the regular season, I don't know. I mean, that's just, maybe that's a long shot, but maybe he comes back with a couple games left. But if you're playing the LTIR game, maybe you try to ride that out a little bit more. The league doesn't know about it. We'll use our Jedi mind tricks on the league. But I don't know. He's 34. That's not like retirement age. That's not automatic retirement age for hockey players. I think he wants to play.
He's got his horse racing going.
It's true. Yeah.
Like why? It's not like he needs the game. He's got his cup.
Yeah.
He's checked all his boxes.
Now
he could ride off into the sunset and say, "Hey,
literally on the horses. He could ride off into the sunset." Yep. But it's a good point, and he does have all those other things that he's doing. And his contract is up at the end of this year. That was probably a big pull for him to come back for the years he's playing now to continue to make $6 million a year.
Yep.
What somebody offers him at the end of this year might make him say, that's not enough for me to come. That's not worth it, because you're gonna take a big bath with what he's going from 6 down to maybe a couple.
He's going to be a 1.5 for 1 year guy for the rest of his career.
You know what I mean? So does he want to do that? I mean, if it's not about the money anymore, which it shouldn't be for him because he's made tons, and it is about just winning another championship, but we've already done that. I mean, you always want to win another one. I get it. I just don't think he's done. I don't think he's done. I think he wants to play a couple more seasons. And if he's not solely connected to the Avalanche, which I think he is, but I think if you have that love for the game, you will play for anybody that wants to put you out on the ice. So I just don't think he's done. I don't think he's done. And I don't think he wants to end it on an injury. If he played healthy and he saw this thing all the way through, maybe we're having a different conversation, but will be an interesting thing to see. Let's get to Bo Byram. We have Corey Leistner. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that wrong. Says, what's the future for Bo Byram with the Avs? Huge playmaker, but are injuries a possible concern? I put up on Twitter after I think 2 games ago. I put up there. It wasn't after the Oiler game, I don't believe that. What are we going to do with Bo Byram's contract? Because he's a restricted free agent. Do they bridge him, or do they just lock him up long term? And there was some really good conversation in there. And there was some people who would say bridge him because it benefits the Avs and, benefits the Avs in the short term. But if he, those injuries go away and, he proves that he is durable and can play full season for that bridge contract, then on that next deal, you are ponying up big time. So I'm fascinated by bridge deals and long term, because for this exact reason.
I think when it comes to the topic of Bo Byram, we just talked about EJ. This year, after it's over, I'm pretty sure it's over. You just slot Bo Byram into the EJ slot. He is our little project when it comes to injuries that we're going to bridge. And we're going to see how it goes. We're going to make that our little project because we can't keep EJ healthy. Once he's gone, we're going to have Bo. Can we keep him healthy? If he can stay healthy and overcome what he's been going through, then we pay him. But if he can't, then everybody in the league knows his value, his upside and the downside, and then the deals go from there. But I say at this point, yes, he's got all the talent in the world, but can he keep it together for a full season? That's why you bridge him.
So, and it's like, which point of view do you want to take from this? Because if you're the Avalanche, all right, take Cale Makar, for example, right? I mean, there was conversation about what do you do with him? Do you bridge him to get, and then you bridge him right up to his 27th year and then you extend him, then you get him for longer? The Avalanche chose to lock him up and they got him. They got Cale Makar for $9 million a year right now. That is looking like Nathan McKinnon's current deal of 6.3, right?
Depending on how he comes through this injury.
Cale Makar?
Yeah.
It's fine. I have zero concern about Cale Makar for the rest of his career.
Ooh.
Zero. Fine. He's got injuries. He's going to have to deal with them.
As it sits now, one of the best deals in the league.
Yeah. So, but here's my point. If you bridged Cale Makar to try to get like maximum years out of him, imagine what the Avalanche are going to would have had to pay him in a couple of years. Not $9 million.
Yeah,
that's higher than what Nathan McKinnon is going to be making next year.
Yeah,
so that's where this game is in.
Yeah, he'd be getting Toronto money.
Yeah, crazy,
Double
crazy.
Digits,
so
easy.
That's why this stuff is fascinating to me, because from the franchise point of view, someone like Byram, what he hit, what he's got. And if you're comfortable enough for him to say, like, yeah, the injuries aren't that much of a concern, they're just kind of fluky, not the concussion stuff. The concussion stuff is very real. But all the other stuff is like, you can never gauge when a guy's going to get injured. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't buy into this, like these guys are just, guys who have a tendency to just get injured all the time. It's a tough game. It's a fast game, and it happens. And I kind of feel like the Avalanche know what they have in him. I don't feel like they're so concerned about the injuries outside of the concussions. And I think they're going to try to lock him up for as long as possible, because they will get him at a lower number now because of those injuries. They can go into negotiations and say that. I don't know. Like, I love this stuff. I really, really love it. So we'll see where that goes. And I know people have some comments on it, so comment away, because it was a good discussion on Twitter. So I'm sure people on YouTube, it's your chance. So a couple more to get to, but first we are going to hear from Athletic Greens, and Kyle has informed me that he needs to take. He's going to be doing a little bit of going off the beaten path with his cleanse, just for maybe like a day or two. Correct?
Yeah, just for Tuesday. Just for Tuesday.
There's reasons behind it, but he's been using Athletic Greens to combat his what was that cleanse? Your
my caffeine cleanse, my body reset.
Cleanse. Yeah.
And I honestly, I don't know if I would have been able to do it without Athletic Greens starting the day every day.
Yeah. So he's been holding strong, but like we said, there are reasons why that he needs to maybe dabble a little bit, but he's going right back on the Athletic Greens kick come Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And what is it? It's 1 scoop of AG1 in a glass of water, and you're absorbing 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. And a special blend of ingredients support your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, focus, and even your aging. And it's lifestyle friendly, whether you eat keto, paleo, vegan, dairy-free, or gluten-free. And it contains less than 1 gram of sugar, no GMOs, no nasty chemical or artificial anything, while still tasting good. And it costs you less than $3 a day. Cheaper than your Dunkin' or Starbucks run every morning. So right now it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with a convenient daily nutrition. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of morning water every day, and that's it. No need for a million different pills or supplements to look out for your health. And to make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/NHL Network. Once again, athleticgreens.com/NHL network to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, sir. We'll get to 2 more today, and we'll kind of have them be focused on. We're recording this on Monday, which is President's Day, obviously. So we had a couple people ask some kind of like presidential questions, I guess we could say. One is from Klingren 13. I love names, but whatever. Klingren 13. Will the Avs ever visit the White House this year? They never went. And most teams kind of like will plan that around when they're playing the Capitals, or somewhere close to that.
For the All-Star break.
Nah, I don't know if they do it for the All-Star break, because you have some players going to, unless they're just going to miss out on it. The players that were going to the All-Star game, I feel like that's just relaxed time. I don't feel like they're going to plan for that. But most teams do it when they're on the East Coast, or I shouldn't say on the East Coast. Teams do it when they're playing like the Capitals or something in the area. And the Avs never did it. And looking at their schedule, they're only on the East Coast one more time, and that's all in Canada when they're doing their Toronto, Ottawa, Montreal trip.
Do they bring in Berkey and Nas?
Well, that's why you kind of, you can't, I don't know. You could do it in like before the season even started.
Yeah.
But no, they just wouldn't be there, those two. Like, that's going to happen. I don't know. I'm kind of
perplexed. Watch them be there tomorrow. Just boom. Hello. Well,
you got your 4 days off. You could make the trip if you wanted to do it, I guess. But
I wonder if that's why.
It's a little confusing why they never went. And that is kind of something that I look forward to seeing. Like, you like seeing your team get kind of like, because not only like people outside of the sports world cover that, right? You see that on like the news channels and stuff. Like, it's a little footnote. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of cool like to see your team be on the NBCs and ABCs of the world, the nightly news kind of quickly. I don't know why they didn't do it. So maybe there's a reason. Who knows? And the last one we'll get to M Bowman, and he's got like a bunch of numbers. Since today, this is coming out Tuesday, so yesterday is President's Day. Which current or former Avs player do you think would be the best president? And if you follow on Instagram, I responded to this, but I'm changing my answer to this. Yes. What do you got?
Oh, it's Curtis McDermott.
And why? Just because of the attitude? Like, you want someone in office that's got like an attitude?
He's cool. He's got swagger.
He drinks.
Whatever he says. Do you think anybody's going to like do one of those little photo ops and like shake his hand?
Yeah.
And then know this guy could like level me in a heartbeat? Like, he'll get deals done.
So just out of sheer, anger, or
and I think
making the other person shaking their boots just because of the sheer size of him.
And it's about time we had a president with a handlebar mustache.
It's true. It is true. For me, I initially put up Claude Lemieux for kind of those same reasons, like no nonsense guy. He's not going to take your guff or anything, like, you know what I mean? But I changed my mind to Sammy G.
Oh my God.
Why? Because he's so polarizing. And isn't it in politics right now? It's either you love him or hate him, whoever's in office. And that's exactly where Sam Girard is. You have the people who would love him and support him, and no matter what he'd say or do, that's the greatest policy we've ever seen in our lives. Or you have the people who can't stand him and say, what are you doing? Don't raise my taxes. Get him out of office. Impeachment. Sammy G is a president.
Well, I don't know why we're making a president. Apparently, he can't play defense. So, on the cusp of World War III, what are we going to do?
And on that zinger, we're going to wrap this bad boy up. But I kind of want to know in the comment, and this, obviously, because I had Claude Lemieux up, past or present, who would be a good president? A lot of people are obviously putting up Joe Sakic. A lot of people are obviously putting up Gabe Landeskog. Dig deep, people. Dig deep. Go into the 25 plus years of the Avalanche and pull out some names that you think could be a good president.
Joe Colburn.
Hey, oh, I almost said Adam Foote. Foote was another one that I put up. I like him too.
Ooh, yeah.
All right, but that will wrap it up for today. We will be back tomorrow. We got another handful of questions to get to and anything else that's going on. Maybe a trade goes down. Who knows? But we will have to wait and see. But thank you for making this your first listen of the day. That's always appreciated. Check us out on our social media outlets, of course. For Mr. Shaggy Von Doom, Kyle Sullivan, I am Chris Maselli, and this is the Locked On Avalanche podcast. Check you guys tomorrow.